The Legend of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Part 1, Chapter 49, Teamwork, written and performed by Joseph Chambers and based on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Master Splinter entered the room and began to lead the Turtles and April through warming up stretches, during which she could see the boys making aggressive faces and hand gestures at each other. She tried to ignore this. "Today we shall be working on teamwork," Master Splinter addressed the group, "and before anyone complains, I shall set an ultimatum. If you don't work as a team in this session, I will cancel our order of pizza tonight." "But we usually have pizza once a week, and it's been at least a week since we had pizza, and—" "So you had better set aside your differences then," demanded Splinter. "Follow me into the sewers for our first task." The boys and April followed the mutant rodent for 5 minutes until they came to a dead ending of a brick wall. The cracked and smothered in the grime and dust of many years' wall had 2 ropes dangling from hooks hammered into the wall. "Firstly," Master Splinter began, "I want you to work in pairs to climb the rope and activate the switches at the top of the ropes in the correct order. Me and April will stay here and make sure you are completing the exercise correctly." "Just as well," April thought to herself. She knew she did not yet possess the upper body strength to climb a rope effectively. Years of gym class and being laughed at by the likes of her peers when she had tried had proven that fact. "Is that it? Seems too easy to be true," Donnie noted. "If Michelangelo could pair up with Donatello, so—" "I don't want to work with Raph. He never takes me seriously as a leader. He is just so arrogant," Leonardo complained. "Don't worry, bro. I'll treat your lame ideas with no respect whatsoever, because who in their right mind would ever listen to you?" Raph confirmed. "Oh, just get on with it and stop being so selfish!" screamed a voice that should have been Master Splinter's, but was actually April's. "Okay, geez, if this is what it's like having a human around, it's so overrated," Raph moaned. All 4 boys took up their positions. "Hajime!" Splinter roared. It was clear that neither team was going to achieve their task very swiftly. The ropes were a little out of reach, so one turtle had to balance their feet in the other turtle's hands and then be lifted onto the ropes. Michelangelo ended up standing on Donatello's head for some reason, and as a result, Donatello screeched like a hyena being spayed without anaesthetic. Raph, meanwhile, decided to deliberately move his hands to unbalance Leo whenever he tried to stand on them and grab the rope. "Why are you trying to mess this up?" Leo ranted. "I can go without pizza if it'll teach you a lesson to stop thinking you're better than me. Why should I care?" Raph unhelpfully responded. "Because I'll kebab you with my katanas in a minute, you irresponsible," Leonardo rumbled. Once Michelangelo had managed to practically hug the rope, having painfully poked his brother in the eye with his toe to the result of even more hyena-esque squeals, he attempted to climb up the rope, very slowly. He was not particularly strong and struggled with pulling himself up. His mind set on the thought of gooey cheese, oozing tomato sauce, and warm doughy bases, he persevered. "I'm not gonna be there first," Mikey panted. Donatello looked over at Raph, practically throwing his brother to the floor, and the two staring at each other with contempt. "Will you stop making this about yourself?" Leo growled. "That's the problem. It's always about precious Leo. I wanted to be leader long before you did," Raph raged. "Oh, are you still upset about that? Let me tell you something, Mr. Spiteful." "Relax, we've got time," Donatello reassured his struggling but slowly rising brother. When Michelangelo reached the top of the rope, after 10 minutes, Donatello was told by Master Splinter the correct order in which to activate the switches, and he called this up to Michelangelo. "Pink, blue, green, red." Michelangelo misheard this and slid down the rope. "Why did you come back down?" Donatello screeched, exasperated. "I didn't hear what you said from up there, so I thought if I come down here, I'll hear you better," Mikey explained. "It's worse than I thought," Master Splinter grumbled, looking from Donatello chasing Michelangelo while shouting maniacally, "Can you hear me Ow! To Raphael yelling loudly enough to cause tremors in the ground, and Leonardo giving looks of fury that would scare a grizzly bear into hibernation in the heat of July. Okay, that was shambolic to say the least. How about we move on to something else? Master Splinter said to April, who had got bored and had put headphones into her shell cell and was sitting on the floor humming along to some modern pop tune that Splinter did not recognise. I don't blame you, I wish I could ignore them sometimes, Master Splinter muttered, resigning. After Master Splinter had managed to calm everyone down and stop them from hitting or yelling at each other, they moved on to another area of the sewers. Next, I would like you to stand in a circle. April, you too, Master Splinter instructed. The students did so, Raph stepping on Leonardo's foot purposely and Donatello stepping on Michelangelo's foot accidentally. Only Donatello apologised. Everyone, close your eyes and grab 2 arms at random. They complied and found themselves virtually knotted together. Open your eyes and try to create a circle without letting go of each other's arms. Okay, be honest, Dad. Have you finally cracked and lost your mind? Donatello moaned. If I had, I would think I was sane and say no. If I hadn't, I would know I was sane and say no, so your question is redundant. The kid seemed stumped and for a few seconds pondered the task in silence. Then Leonardo chose to speak. Well, we're not going to achieve anything by standing here doing nothing. I suggest we need to either go over or under each other's arms to complete the task. He turned his head over to his father. Right? I'm not helping you. It's entirely up to you and your team, was his encouragement. April ducked under Mikey and Leo's joined arms, and Raph did a similar manoeuvre in the opposite direction. All this accomplished was the near strangling of Donatello and the twisting of Mikey's arms to the point where he screeched and his brothers told him again to shut up. Leo then hopped over April and Donnie's arms. Similar movements occurred until quite a while had passed and it became apparent to Master Splinter that nobody could move anymore, having twisted themselves into a very strange and unrecognisably shaped mass. It was noted by Splinter that they had all moved without talking to each other and had just ended up making everything worse by not communicating.